Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Krishna Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare
Hare Krishna, Dandavats Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavats Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadadi Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatade Satarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So welcome all. So I hope all of you were able to read those purports, what we discussed in the last class. So please keep your questions ready that we can try to answer all those questions at the end of the class. And also last class we gave about 3 slokas for memorization. I'm assuming that you're all getting ready with memorizing. So please keep yourself up to date so that you don't miss anything. Okay? When you keep things up to date, then what happens? The entire Bhagavatam, you can understand like a story format. Oh, this event, that event happened. This event, that event happened. So that's the benefit of the whole thing. Yeah. So now in the last class, we completed chapter 2.14. One second. So we completed 2.13, I think so. Yeah, correct.
Yes, Prabhu. 14 we should do.
So in this, we are understanding how do we come to or gain, finer aspects of devotion, or not, I would say finer aspects of devotion, by doing certain activities. So from 2.13 onwards till for the next 3 slokas, we'll continue to understand what are the activities we have to do so that we can come to the platform of devotion. Okay. So coming to platform devotion is most important. If you don't come to platform of devotion, then how will you practice devotion? So that is a key challenge. Okay. So the first step is to come to platform devotion, then practice of devotion. Then you will understand Lord's pastime and activities. So in the question 1 and 2, which is 9th sloka and 11th sloka respectively, it is asking what is good for the people and what's the essence of scriptures. So in these things, you should understand that Bhagavatam is recommending come to platform devotion through various methods. Then it is going to recommend to you, once you come to platform devotion, how do you practice them? What are the various techniques to practice devotion? Okay. So then you come to the point that, okay, I practice devotion. Now, when I practice devotion, various stages of devotion manifest in my heart, right? So, for example, the first is Shraddha, Bhajana Kriya, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivarti. So, like that, you will see practice of devotion will make you to progress in these steps one by one. And that's the key point. And that's what Bhagavatam is trying to tell us now. Practice of devotion. Then after practice of devotion, Sudha Goswami will answer the third question, which says, now your heart is purified because of practice of devotion. Now you are ready to understand this message. Hence he answers the third question, which is, how come Krishna, being a supreme personality of Godhead, who is beyond all this material existence, who is living in the supreme abode, in the Vaikuntha planets, came and was born to as a son or a child to ordinary mortals like Vasudeva and Devaki. That is when we can understand. So that is the point. That's how the author is taking the whole scenario towards. Okay? Are we clear how the whole thing is now changing?
Yes,
Okay.
Prabhu.
Okay, so now we will learn, so 2.13, 13, this 14 and 15, correct. So up to 15, author is establishing how to come to platform devotion. Okay, so 2.14, 13, sorry. Ataha pumbid dvijashreshta varnashrama vibhagashaha svanatitasya dharmasya samsidet haritoshanam. Okay, so look at this keyword here is Samshidir Haritoshanam. What is Haritoshanam? If an environment or a situation is very conducive to practice bhakti, and we have faith in it, and then we get situated into it, then what happens? We are actually situated in an opportunity which can please Hari, and that will be very soothing to our heart. Okay? Translation. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste divisions and orders of life is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means the end conclusion of our activity is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. Now, how do you do that? Oh, Prabhuji, if you look at in current worlds, there are many, many religious caste practices, so many gods, so many procedures, so many books, so many cults, so many groups. What to practice and what is the correct thing? So hence, the institutionalizing of Varnashrama system comes into effect. Okay? So Lord says, what did Lord says? He says, Chatur Varnam Maya Shrishtam. Maya means I created Chatur Varna. That's all. So how he created Chatur Varna? He created 4 classes of men. Right? The Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. Now, you get classified under this according to your consciousness and nature of activity. Right? Both. Consciousness and nature of activity. Right? Now, if you're wanting to be a Brahmana and you perform activity, but your consciousness is not there, that means you're a pseudo. You're not really a Brahmana. Right? So that is why it says consciousness and nature of activity. So now why only 4? So the Lord said, there must be activities that must be performed in this material world for one to realize the Supreme Lord, or path to success, path to devotion. But to realize that activities, one must be guided. One must be nurtured, mentored, and directed with correct transcendental knowledge. So hence he created the class of gurus or the class of brahmanas. So that is the Brahminical class. The whole purpose of a Brahminical class is to understand the science of God as spoken by Lord to Brahmaji, to Narada Muni, to Vyasa, and then to the rest of the disciples. That message must be clearly read, understood, and practiced. So when they do this, what happens? They become the guide, because not everyone can connect to Lord. What is the proof? The proof was when all the Devatas, they felt the burden, including starting from Mother Earth. They felt the burden of adharma in this world. They want to tell and call out the Lord. Oh Lord, please help us. But these prayers cannot be reached to the Lord unless they go through Brahmaji. Right? So Lord empowered only Brahma. So then what happened? All the prayers given by the demigods were offered to Brahmaji or presented in front of Brahmaji, and Brahmaji offered the Purushashukta prayers to the Lord, thereby transmitting his concerns and wishes to the Lord. And Lord in turn reciprocated to Brahmaji, by which all the demigods got the clear understanding about how the Lord is going to come, descend, avatar, do perform various amorous activities. So similarly, this entire knowledge of Veda Shastra, which is the key for human being success, will be learned, practiced, and demonstrated by this Brahminical class, and they will become the guidance or the spiritual masters of this society, and hence the Brahminical class came. Okay, now if we just learn scriptures and keep preaching people, the people will need to do activity. There is no way no one can perform no activity and continue to move. So activity has to be performed. So activity is performed under 3 divisions. The Kshatriya class. The Kshatriya class are the administrative class. That means they plan, they protect, they do all other activities in running the kingdom, in hearing the right guidance from the ministers who are nothing but the Brahmanas. Right? Then Everyone needs to eat food. Everyone needs to have some activity in terms of maintaining this material body. Hence, the Vaishya community was created. Vaishya communities are trader communities. So what they would do? They perform activities through which one can get produce or whatever it may be that will be maintained this body. Once this body is maintained, then this body can be offered in service of the Lord. And through this body, we come to the platform of spiritual, that means purifying this body. Mind. Body means I'm talking about subtle and gross. And by which we can understand Supreme Lord and go back to God. But for the Vaishyas to perform, they need labor class. So hence the formation of the Sudra class. So now, the key is very important. When Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras, they cooperatively work. The key is cooperation. When they cooperatively work under the guidance of Brahmana, who's actually elevating himself to a Vaishnava and guiding them how to realize God and go back to Godhead, such a society achieves perfection and achieves love of Godhead. So hence, Bhagavatam is recommending that such an institute needs to be stabilized and standardized so that all people fall into this category and they are practicing love of Godhead. So that's what this sloka is talking about. Now, Prabhuji, where is Varnashrama system today's life? So Varnashrama system, you should understand that when you come to a movement like ISKCON, of course, you can go to any movement. You can go to a Sri Vaishnava movement, or you can go to movement of Nimbarkara, or you can go to Vallabha, or you can go to any bona fide movements. You should know what is your position. Are you a Sudra? Are you a Vaishya? Are you a Brahmana? What are you? Accordingly, submit yourself and practice. It is in your hands. Do not bring your false ego to challenge, because it doesn't help. Right? So this way what happens, slowly our attachment to the activities and this material world get detached. We are here until, our time is destined and we'll go back to God. Right? So that means it is not that one needs to be all Brahminical class, purely knowledgeable and do it. No, you can be any class, but you can still get liberated. All right. So the key is we need to function corporate. Right. So, for example, in our temple also, you see, there are some very good preachers out there. Some people can talk about the knowledge of the subject very well. So they are more aligned towards Brahminical class. Right. And a lot of people are saying, Prabhuji, I cannot be preacher, but I can do a lot of administration services. Right. I'm not saying exactly, but logically classification. Okay. So you may say, okay, I'm in that mentality, so I'll administer the whole thing like a managerial class. And there are other devotees who, like the congregation. We have congregation, we have inmates, then we have pujaris, cooks, all those people. So they all do the activities, hard labor. Every day get up morning, cook, make nice prasad, everyone. So this congregation, what do? They always keep Krishna in the center of their life. They work. And then they give a portion of their earnings for the institution to run successfully. So thereby you see, all 4 classes are very well engaged. All of them nourished with Srimad Bhagavatam. All are nourished with transcendental activities. Everyone will go back to God. Right? So this is how this can be installations even today. And that's how it is taking shape. Okay, now let's go to next look. 2.14. Tasmad ekena manasa Bhagavan Shatvatam Patihi Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Deyaha Puja Chanityada. So what Bhagavatam is trying to tell is, yes, you can do installation of something like this. Yes, I'm ready, Prabhu. Yes, I am for this. But the problem comes is, because we are in Kali Yuga, we are in material world, there is going to be lot of disturbances. Keep changing our thought process. Take away our consciousness towards a different direction. So if you look at the translation, therefore, with one pointed attention, what is that one point attention? The attention to the lotus feet of Lord. That is my goal. For a student to succeed, that goal is never taken away from in front of the eyes. It is always there in front of us. That means what? Whatever I do in my day-to-day life, I should be fully satisfied whether it is meeting that goal. If it is not meeting that goal, that means I am wasting my time on activity. Right? So Prabhupada said, it is impossible for someone to be 100% Krishna conscious in Kali Yuga, given so many disturbances that we have. At least try to reach 70% Krishna conscious, and at least try to become a Madhyama. Okay, there are three types of adhikaris: Kanishta adhikari, Madhyam adhikari, Uttam adhikari. So he's not asking us to become Uttam adhikari. He's saying at least come to the levels of Madhyama. Madhyama also has different levels: lower Madhyama, higher Madhyama, all those things. He's not even telling that. He's telling at least come to the first level of Madhyama adhikari. So with 70% of consciousness towards Krishna, coming to the platform Madhyam adhikari, one can transcend this material world. And that's how Prabhupada is making this whole process very simple. But if realization of absolute truth is the ultimate aim of life, see, that is your ekena manasa. It must be carried out by all means. If any one of the above mentioned caste or orders of life, the four processes, namely hearing, remembering, worship, are general occupations, without these principles of life, no one can exist. Okay? Now, while following these principles of life, you see, because there are many material activities around us, they would keep distorting our mind. Then what happens? We lose this goal. Very, very simple. Let's say someone gets into a health problem. Because they are so much bodily conscious that they lose focus. They will not practice. They'll leave it away. So, sloka has failed. Sloka has passed, but he has failed to the sloka. The best example is our Guru Maharaj. See, so much of health problems, but he doesn't care that ekena manasa is going on. If you, anytime you hear his lectures, he'll only talk about three things. First, he'll say, Prabhupada has given me certain instructions, I need to fulfill them. No changing that. Second, he will always want to give causeless mercy to as many souls as possible. No restriction at all. He doesn't care how much he is suffering, but he just wants to give causeless mercy. He is like a postman, taking the mercy of the Lord or his previous Acharya Guru and giving to his disciples. 3, he is always remembering God. Anytime his consciousness about Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, never ever deviates from that. Anything you say, whatever you do, everything he'll equate to Lord. You see how he sees Krishna. So this is what you have to learn from your Acharya. So this Tasmad Ekena Manasa is perfectly demonstrated by him. So this is what we need to do. So in our day-to-day life, we may have many activities. We may have business activities, job activities, family-related activities. But your goal to the lotus feet of Krishna cannot be compromised and cannot be deviated. You should go on practicing that. That is the purpose of this. Right? Okay. When we do that, what is perfection of life? To glorify that Supreme Lord. Right? Look at this. What I've highlighted. Key things I'm highlighting. Okay. The tendency to glorify others or hear others may be turned into real object of glorification. So in general, we have this enviness because of constant association with material nature, time immemorial. Because we've been here for a long time, we've acquired these material qualities. So, when enviness persists in our heart, we will not appreciate anymore, good or bad. Oh, he doesn't deserve appreciation, or why should I appreciate him? Oh, if I appreciate, he'll go much higher. All these logics we have. We don't appreciate people. So, Bhagavatam is recommending begin the habit of appreciating others to start with. This glorifying and appreciating others will slowly change your heart and consciousness that you will start to even glorify and appreciating Lord's creation, Lord's activities, Lord's leelas, everything about the Lord, and that will be the path to success for you. That's what it says. It says, turn to the real object of glorification, the Supreme Being, and that will bring in happiness. So that means we have to first change our behavior within our family members, within our devotee circle, and whomever we see. Let us learn to appreciate. We'll not over appreciate, but we'll appreciate. Why we are appreciating? It is not to glorify him, no. To bring in a change in my heart so that I will also appreciate my Lord and Lord's activities. When I hear a great pastime of the Lord, I'll appreciate the Lord. Otherwise, what I'll say? Because of my envious nature, I'll say, so what? Big dick. He has strength, he lifted the Govardhan hill. So what? That's how our mind will think. Huh? You see how Bhagavatam is giving us knowledge. Okay. So is the sloka clear? 14?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Now let's go to sloka 15. So now until sloka 15, we are only talking about how to come to the platform of devotion. Okay. So in the 15th sloka, Lord is telling, when you practiced all the slokas till 14, what are you going to be given? You're going to be given a sword, which is called as a transcendental sword. With that sword, you'll cut the knots of your material attachment. Right? So now let's say you are tied with a rope, your hands, legs, everything, but you're given a nice sword. So that sword, you'll cut those ropes. You'll set yourself free, liberate yourself. And he says, this knowledge, this practice is your sword. And that's what he's telling in sloka number 215. Okay. Yad anudyasina yuktaha karma granti nibaddanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryat kataratim. Translation. With sword in hand, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work. That means whatever we did, any action produces reaction, and that is karma. When you perform an action, karma, it produces reaction. The reaction can be akarma, vikarma, or whatever karma it may. So what he says, now you're practicing, coming to the platform of practice of devotion. Now he says, by remembering the person Godhead, you will not pay the attention, therefore you will not, okay, by remembering the person Godhead, you will cut this knot that binds you to this material. So there is no more knots on your body, which is pulling you back to the material world. You are ready for liberation. Right? So this is the key that the Lord is trying to tell you. So the highlight of this is the paragraph. Therefore, any sensible man who's above the average man with poor fund of knowledge must constantly remember the personality of Godhead by hearing about him. So that means Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. These three are the topmost. By hearing, you can speak about him. By hearing and speaking, you can remember him. And that will make your case perfect for liberation. So what does that do? It is by glorifying him, by remembering him and worshiping him, always without cessation. Cessation means non-stop. I don't want to do anything else kinds. This is the perfect way of devotion service. The Goswamis of Vrindavan, who are authorized by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to preach the Bhakti cult, rigidly followed this rule. They role modeled and made immense literature of transcendental science for our benefit. They have chalked out ways for all classes of men. That means they did not say, oh, this is only for a Brahminical class, this is only for Indian people, This is only for people who are in sannyasa state. Nothing. It's at all classes of men. That means this knowledge is applicable to any kinds of skin, anywhere in the world or anywhere in the creation. So, they have chalked out various ways for all classes of men in terms of different caste and cadres in life in pursuance of the teaching of Srimad Bhagavatam and similar other authoritative scriptures. Hey, Rachana here. Yeah. Okay. So is this clear now?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, should we intelligently cut off this whatever karmic reactions through this knowledge, through this sword of knowledge, or gradually will it get vanished when we are into devotional service, Prabhu?
Prabhu, the word intelligent here used is you're able to think about these things. Hey, this is correct. So let me practice according to scriptural knowledge and according to the guidance. Okay. So carefully avoiding unwanted non-Krishna conscious activities and carefully binding yourself to activities that pertains to devotion is application of intelligence.
Yes, Prabhu.
So when you do that, then what happens? The result is automatic. You don't need to do anything else. Clear, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So now sloka 13 and 14 are to be mugged up. So let us mug up 13 and 14. Okay. I'll repeat. Yes. Please repeat after me. Ataha pumbid dvijashreshta.
Ataha pumbid dvijashreshta.
Varnashrama vibhagashaha. Svanuttitasya dharmasya. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. Okay, so this sloka you have to mug up as a very, very important sloka, establishing Varnashrama system. Okay. Then 2.14, we already have mugged up the sloka and the list is there. If you have not mugged up, please mug up the sloka. Okay, we'll repeat this. Tasmadekena manasa. Bhagavan Shatvatam Patihi. Rotavya Kirtitavyascha. Eyaha Puja Chanityada. Yeah. So this sloka is telling one point at attention. Do not deviate from the goal of your life. What's the goal of your life? The lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Right? Okay. So now we finished till 15. Now we're going to 16. So 16 is nothing but practice of bhakti. Okay. So until now what we did, we came to the platform of bhakti yoga. So now we are going to learn how do we practice this bhakti. That means perfection of devotion. Okay. So what's the first one? First stage in practice of 9 stages of devotion?
Shravanam.
That is a process of this one. Practice is Shraddha. So we will see how do we develop faith and become very consistent in that. Okay. So this is a sloka. This is also an important sloka. In Canto 1, you have lots of important sloka. Almost 100 slokas you will get. Okay. So let's read 2.16. Shushusho Shraddhadanasya.
Shushruto Shraddhadanasya.
Vasudeva Kataruchihi. Jyan Mahat Sevaya Vipraha. Punyatita Nishevana. Okay. So now let's look at the translation. Before looking at translation, we're going to look at the keyword here. The first keyword is Shraddhadanasya. Right? Care and attention, faith. So whatever we do, we have to have faith. We should be detail oriented. You cannot do at the surface level. You cannot do hodgepodge work. Okay. Then how do you do? It's just Mahat Sevaya. Mahat Sevaya means by rendering service. Okay. So With care and attention, how do you do care and attention? With sadhu sangha. So you do Shraddha, then sadhu sangha. In that sadhu sangha, you do Mahat Sevi. So it means service to the Vaishnavas or devotees. So when we do these three things, certain things happen in our heart. So what does happen in our heart? We will see that now. O twice born sages, by serving devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. See? You don't need to figure out what is that. Just by serving them, great service done. Why? What will happen? So for example, now Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj is coming. I'm just giving an example. He is considered to be an exalted personality. Okay? He wanted some service and you did that. What is he going to do? He is going to bless you with love of God. Right? That blessing is the key. Now, let's say we don't do service, we fought with them, we found something else with them. Then we will also still get blessings of love of Godhead, but it will be blessings like Manigreva Nalaku. That means we will go through a process of purification through certain method of reformatory atonement and then get love of God. Right? So both will give you love of Godhead, but one is a delayed process to purify your heart, one is immediately to purify your heart. So that's the point here. Okay? So now let's look at the key aspects of this sloka. So here we are going to learn here. Okay, this is the point here. The servants of God are to be respected as God by the devotees who actually want to go back to God. Such servants of God are called Mahatmas or Tirthas. As they preach according to a particular time and place, the servants of God urge people to become devotees of Lord. They never tolerate being called Lord. Sri Chaitanya Prabhu was God himself according to the indication of revealed scriptures, but he played the part of a devotee. Okay. So here the context is given as sometimes when you know, these great personalities who come to preach, because they are internally impure, suddenly positions them as God. So those are the devotees you should avoid. A real devotee of God will never call himself as a God. Right? He will call himself as a servant of God. So the point that we need to understand is that by serving such great devotees who are bona fide in nature, we will get love of God. If you serve a devotee of God, so-called devotee of God, who is not bona fide, but who himself positions like God, is dangerous for us. It doesn't help us. We may also get that mentality. Okay? So now Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 18.16, what does he say? That anyone who preaches my glory, my Leela, is considered to be very dear to me. A real bona fide guru will talk about the actual position of God and himself as servant of God. And such person is called Mahatma. You serve such a person and you will get his blessings by which you can get love of Godhead. Once you get love of Godhead, you become eligible to go to the kingdom of God at the time of death. Otherwise, what happens? You're once again being born again. So from this sloka, we can understand that we should have faith in the scriptures and the message of Godhead. The scriptures and the message of Godhead come through great personalities like Mahatmas. And these Mahatmas are one who never claims themselves to be God, but claim themselves to be servant of God. By rendering such a great Mahatma, what shall we get? We get their blessings by which we get love of Godhead. So, this first sloka is teaching us Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, and Bhajana Kriya. Okay? So, Shraddha is Shraddhadanasya. Mahat Sevaya is service to the Mahatmas. By serving, you also get association of devotees. That's why Bhajan Kriya is being told. Okay? Now, let's look at 2.17. This is also sloka you have to mug up. We recite this sloka very often in our class also. Okay? Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna
Srimataam Prakata Krishna
Punya Shravana Kirtanaha
Punyashravana Kirtana
Hridayantasto hi abadrani
Hridayanto hi Bhadrani
Noti Sudrat Satam.
Vidunoti.
Okay. So here you see Shrinvatam. Shrinvatam means developing taste to hear details about God. So that is Shrinvatam. Through what? About who? Krishna, the Supreme Person Godhead. Swakata. Swakata means as spoken by the Lord Himself. So you're not hearing something man-made, right? So Srimad Bhagavatam, which was delivered to us by Suta Goswami, was first heard by Suta Goswami from Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami got trained from Vyasdev. Vyasdev got this knowledge from Narada Muni. Narada Muni got instructed about this knowledge by Brahmaji, and Brahmaji was made to realize this knowledge in his heart by that Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means whatever we are hearing, Shrinvatam, is actually Swakata Krishna. It was something spoken by the Lord Himself, and that is what we hear. So our duty is a postman job. What's the postman job? We don't need to invent anything. Take that knowledge as spoken by the Lord and give it to everyone. If we adulterate that by giving our own message, then we become Lord of Lord. So don't do that. Okay. So the key message is out of this. Let's look at the translation. Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of a devotee who has developed the urge to hear his message, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Okay. So what's the key message? The key message is the Swakata Krishna. That is message of Lord. Message here includes Leela, activities, pastimes, and various other activities of the Lord is Swakata. So the Swakata Krishna must be heard and recited by devotees in a very, very studious manner. It cannot be done in a careless manner. So when one develops a desire, I want to hear. I want to really hear and understand. I want to understand my Supreme Lord as spoken by Him. So to such people, where there is truthfulness in his heart to hear and glorify that Supreme Personality of Godhead, what the Lord does, He cleanses the heart of material allurement, lamentation, anarthas, and all those things. So when the heart is fully cleared, then what happens? The Lord is ready to descend into that heart. So now the heart is full of, like a dustbin it is now. All nonsense is there. So first the dustbin must be cleaned. Then one simhasana has to be put down. Then the Lord has an opportunity to arrive. So hence the Lord is telling, Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna. It leads to Punyashravana Kirtana. Okay? So that is the key aspect of the sloka. So the key messages out of this are, the holy name of the Lord has all potencies of the Lord, and that He has endowed His innumerable names with the same potency. Message by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what does he say? Just to hear that Lord and Lord's names and all these things is so powerful that you don't need any other additional instruments or anything else. It'll clean your heart. So cleaning your heart can be done by faithful hearing, Shravanam. not careless hearing. Okay. Secondly, Prabhuji, should I put all the effort by myself? Why not Lord also help me? So he says, Athar is written, the purport. What is written? Look at the second, this part. The Lord is more anxious to take us back into his kingdom than we can desire. That means you may wonder, okay, somehow if I go back home will be great, but more than that, Lord is wanting you to come back home. So he's putting all the effort than you to drag you back to home, back to God. It says, most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. We don't have the desire. Somehow difficulty or happiness, we will stay here. Only a very few men want to go back to Godhead, but anyone who desires, Lord Krishna helps in all respects. Ye yata mam prapadyante tam stateva bhajami. God does more than what we want to do. You all know the story of the pig, no? How Indra became a pig.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
So what happened? His spiritual master cursed him that you become a pig and be born in the material world. And he said, you will just become a pig for only one day. But in the material world, 1 day of celestial day is equal to 1 year. So then what happened? Indra was born as a pig in the material world. Now, where does the pig live? It lives in drainages. It lives in places where there's filth and shit and all those things. Now, apart from that, the pig can reproduce by so much very quickly. So Indra reproduced a lot and he had a huge family and he was living in that filthy area. Life went on. 1 day of celestial life got over. 1 year in the earthly planet got over. So his spiritual master said, okay, now its time is over. He sends 2 of his servants, go back and tell Indra that he's actually Indra and get him back here because he needs to rule. He needs to sit and administer the whole thing. So these 2 servants, they came from Indralok and they descended. They came to earthly planet, Martyalok. So they found Indra, form of a pig. Then using certain powers, they made Indra to realize, hey, you are Lord Indra, you are not this pig. He said, you are the great Indra. You sit in Indraloka and you rule, control. You are the administrative head of all the demigods. You were cursed. Now time go back. Let's go back. What was Indra's response? He said, no, I'm quite happy here. So we are all like that now. Even though great things are waiting for us, we are so happy here that we are not making any efforts to leave this place and go back home, back to Godhead. That is what we have to realize. This is called intense conditioning. That we are so much conditioned that we don't care to do anything else. Okay? It says, many stalwarts in devotion line fell victim to these allurements. What allurements? Material allurements. And thus they retreated from path of liberation. That means they said, okay, I don't want liberation. I'm very happy here. I have nice cars. I have drivers. I have houses. I have business. I have gold. Everything I have. Why should I go? I'll just be happy. So Lord says, don't do that. Is this clear?
Yes,
Prabhu,
Prabhu.
So let's not become Indras now.
Prabhu, should we desire to go back to Godhead? Because in some of the lectures, we are told, they tell that whatever we deserve, definitely we are going. Krishna will be very merciful to give that. We don't have to desire. They tell like that, Prabhu. What should we do?
Okay, the understanding is wrong. That's why you're confused. Okay, so I'll tell you what happens.
Yes, Prabhu.
See, your goal is not liberation. Okay, liberation means what? Somehow get out of difficulty. That is liberation. Somehow get out of this material world. That is liberation. That is not the goal. The goal is, how do I serve the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna? Now, who can think about that? Only a person who's in the state of liberation. Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
If you're fully conditioned, whatever I tell you about Radha and Krishna, you will all say it's all imaginary and Krishna was a playboy. Like that, you'll comment and go away. So only when you have desire for liberation, you will have love to serve the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna and their associates. So now what they're telling? Here when the sloka says aspire for liberation, it tells aspire to serve Radha and Krishna's lotus feet. When there in the class they're telling don't keep looking for liberation, actually go become a pure devotee. What they're trying to say?
Yes,
Focus on the service to Radha and Krishna.
Yes.
Liberation is automatic, it will come.
Yes.
So they're trying to take the consciousness that, oh, I want to get out of difficulty, so I want liberation. I want to get out of difficulty, so I want liberation. They're telling, take out that consciousness.
Yes, true.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
true.
So now, in these slokas, we are talking about practice of devotion now. Okay, let's do 2.18.
Yes.
This is a sloka we have to mug up again. Okay. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu
nityam bhagavata sevaya
Bhagavata sevaya
bhagavati uttamashloke
Bhagavati Uttama
bhaktir bhavati naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Okay, translation. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam, it says regular, not once a while. Okay, Prabhu has been telling for so many days, okay, this week I'll attend, no problem. Don't become that much magnanimous. Okay. And by rendering service to the pure devotee, so one is hearing Bhagavatam and performing a service to pure devotees. All that is troublesome to the heart is destroyed. Okay. In 17, we saw Anartha Nivarti. In the 17th sloka, this one. Srinvatam Swakata Krishna, what happens? Anarthas have gone away. Okay. Now in 18th sloka, what happens? Anything that is disturbing the heart is destroyed, and loving service of personality Godhead comes. Who is praised with transcendental songs, established irrevocable fact. What does that mean? That means the love of Godhead is now very, very stably, perfectly established in my heart. That means I will not deviate from my devotion service. So in 17 we saw Anartha Nivarti, in 18 we see Nishta. Nishta Bhakti. What is Nishta Bhakti? Bhakti that is steady state. Now what is steady state Bhakti? Let's understand. Steady state Bhakti means whenever we are doing an activity, our mind automatically tells this is right or wrong. If it is wrong, it rejects. And whatever is right, it accepts and makes us to do those activities. And it does this on an automatic, on a continuous basis. This is one of the aspects of steadiness. Second, no need to tell you, Prabhuji, you're supposed to chant today. Why you didn't chant today? No need to tell you. No need to tell you, come on, you have to offer bhoga to the Lord. You have to worship the Lord every day. You have to sing for the pleasure of the Lord. Hear something about the Lord. No need to tell you. You automatically do that. So now, first the step is automatically we are having tendency to do that. But crystallizing that means we make it a point, defocusing all other unwanted material activities, and we do this practice of bhakti on a regular basis. No excuse. So it means I'll time. Okay, Prabhu, this week, these are all the Maharajas that are coming, these classes I have to attend. And these are all the evening programs I have to attend. These are the morning programs I have to attend. So you program every Sunday evening. This is my activity for next week. And in that programming, first priority is all your activities towards Krishna conscious, and the leftover time that you have, you do all your material activities. And in 24 hours, how much you need Krishna conscious activities? About 2 to 3 hours a day max. Right? That means balance 20 hours is available for you to perform your bodily maintenance activities. So when we do this, we get great results. Here in the sloka, there are two kinds of personalities being called out. One is called Person Bhagavata and Book Bhagavata. The author is telling that both need to be worshipped or both need to be taken care. That means what? Who's a Person Bhagavata? A Person Bhagavata is a devotee who's a preacher. Okay. Whose book Bhagavata? Is Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so what does this both needs to be done parallelly means? Very simple. Today I heard a lecture 4.2.11. Fourth canto, second chapter, 11th sloka. I heard from the preacher. Okay, it was very nice. Prabhuji is too good. So, person Bhagavata accomplished. Now, book Bhagavata needs to be accomplished. What do we need to do? Immediately, we need to refer the book and say, did I understand this perfectly? What did Prabhupada say? Are there any points to be noted? Immediately refer that and close. It will take only 10 minutes, but close that. So then we are parallelly serving both book Bhagavata and person Bhagavata. So then what happens? When Vani is heard, we don't fail to perform our duties. We just take the instruction, perform the duties. So this is the combination of book and person Bhagavata. That's what the sloka is trying to reference. Okay? Okay. So now, we did Shraddha, we did Sadhu Sangha, then we did Mahat Seva, Bhajana Kriya, then we did Anartha Nivarti, then we did Nishta Bhakti. Okay, so now we'll go to the next sloka, 2.9.
One question, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So, Prabhuji, this this all the stages has to be completed, and then only you can reach to next stage, Prabhu. Or
It is sort of yes, Prabhu, because, for example, if I don't have anarthas removed from my heart, how will I get ruchi for Lord? Okay. If I don't serve do Mahat Seva, then how do I remove my anarthas? If I don't get association of devotees, then how will I get faith? Correct, no, Prabhu? So they are interrelated.
yes, Prabhu. It's a question like if the all the anarthas are not cleared, it means we have not reached to Nishta, right?
You may do Nishta, but you may also have anarthas. That is no problem. Because what happens is we have mixture in our heart. That's no problem. But by practice of it, you will see slowly Nishta becomes stronger and anarthas go away. Now, currently you have some Nishta, some anarthas. No problem. But practice. By practice, Nishta will become stronger, anarthas will go away. That means you translate to the next level. Are you getting it, Prabhu?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, let's go to 19 now. Tadarajastamo bhavaha kama lobadayaschaye chetayete viddham stitam sattve prasidati. Translation. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established. So where is loving established? Because we perform Nishta Bhakti, steady state Bhakti in the previous sloka, 2.18. In 2.19, it is saying, as soon as irrevocable love is established in the heart, the effects of nature of modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, they go away from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and becomes completely happy. That means he's starting to taste the higher, the supreme nature of transcendental activities. Right? So first what he did? He had association by which he developed faith. He started to hear. Then what he did? Oh, I have to do Mahat Seva. He served the devotees. He got association of devotees. Sadhu Sangha. Then what happened? By the blessings of that Sadhu Sangha or those important pure devotees, slowly his wrong understanding, material conceptions of life, they went away. So Anartha Nivati happened. After Anartha Nivati, what happened? Then he's clear. Oh God, my duty is to serve my Lord consistently. So I'll become steady state in my devotion. He became Nishta. Now, because he's performing steady state devotion, what is getting into his heart? Love for God. He's getting taste. He's getting ruchi. So this sloka is talking about ruchi. Okay? Purport. A devotee is always in mode of unalloyed goodness. Therefore, he harms no one. Vidya vinaya shampanne brahmine gavihastini. That means he sees all on equal plane. He doesn't tell wrong about someone, he doesn't tell good about someone, but he sees all on great devotees of their Lord, part and parcel of their Lord. But the non-devotee, however educated he may be harmful. Why? Because he has the nature of proprietorship, or this is mine, I am the center of life. So if I am disturbed about my assets, if I'm disturbed about I am the center of the life, immediately he becomes harmful. He may be a good guy, he'll talk nicely, everything. But when it comes to a personal aspect that is disturbed, that he immediately turn his colors, change his colors. So that's the difference between devotee and non-devotee. So a devotee is neither foolish nor passionate. The harmful, foolish, and passionate cannot become devotees of the Lord. So this is the quality of a devotee. Devotee is in state of goodness. He may have passion and ignorance to some extent, but to a large extent he is in state of goodness. But non-devotees, they're in large extent in state of ignorance and passion. They may have very, very small fragmental portions of goodness. A devotee is always qualified with all qualities of God. Quantitatively, such qualification may be different, but qualitatively, both the Lord and his devotees are one and the same. That means slowly and slowly, that goodness will become pure goodness, which is called Shuddha Shatvikam. And that Shuddha Shatvikam is very, very similar in the qualities between Lord Vishnu and the devotee. So the soul is completely purified. This is called Ruchi. Okay? Now after Ruchi, what happens? Asakti. What is Asakti? Okay, now I tasted what is Krishna. There's nothing else I don't want to do in my life. I'm completely attached to him. And that is called Asakti. Fully attached to the lotus feet. There's nothing else in this world is important. Okay? And in such a state, what happens? He's completely satisfied and happy. Right? That's what tells in 2.20. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavat bhakti yogataha bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Translation. Thus, established in mode of unalloyed goodness. See, this unalloyed is a very key word. Unalloyed means pure goodness. What is alloy? Alloy means mixture of metals. It's called alloy. That means if I take 10% gold, 10% silver, 10% iron, 10% copper, 8% brass, like that, I put all of them in a vessel and melt all of them together. That is an alloy because it's called mixture of metals. Unalloyed means pure, 24 karat gold. Unalloyed goodness. The man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotion service of the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of God. Krishna says, Tesam evanukam partham aham ajnana jam tamah. So, when he comes to the state, the Lord tells, okay, I've switched on all the lights, man. This is the path to Vaikuntha. Just walk this path. Don't do anything else. So that's the key here. Right? So 18.55, Lord says, Bhagavad Gita, the scientific knowledge of Krishna is understood only by Bhakti Yoga practice. And Bhakti Yoga in pure state. So when we reach this state of Asakti, which is beyond Ruchi, then what happens to us? We are able to practice Bhakti Yoga and Lord opens up all the paths to reach him. Very clear. No disturbance, no motivation. Okay. So that is 2.20. So we'll do this few, if time permits, we'll do 21, 22 because these two slokas are going to complete practice of bhakti. Okay. Then 23 onward.
Asakti, no, Prabhu?
Yes, asakti. Asakti. Okay. Now 21. Vidyate hridaya grantis chidyante sarva samshayaha shiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishvare. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced and all misgivings are cut into pieces. The chain of fruit of action is terminated when one sees self as master. Okay, so now you see he's liberated now. He's in fully liberated state. When he sees the self as master means what? He's seeing qualitatively he's not different from the Lord. That means he's in the platform of Shuddha Shatvikam. Okay, so this is the important way to understand the progression. So in this state, actually, From Ashakti, we go to Prema and Bhava state. So in the state of 21, this sloka, it is experienced an intermediate state called Rati. Rati means fondness. Fondness means it is an intermediate state between Asakti and Prema. That extreme love of Godhead is manifested. He cannot see anything else. We saw, Kusum Sarovar pastime. Radharani is being decorated by Krishna and she is holding a mirror to see how Krishna is decorating. When Radharani is seeing the mirror of her image, she is not seeing her, but she is seeing Krishna. She takes away the mirror, again keeps in front of her. She says only Krishna. How come? I am keeping the mirror in front of me. I am supposed to see my image, but I am seeing Krishna. That is what the development of consciousness. That is called Rati or Prema or fondness or pure devotion love. That means whatever he sees Krishna. Now, what is the meaning of sees Krishna? That means, hey, I cannot see any objects. No, that's not the meaning. The meaning is he sees everything in relation to Krishna. Krishna or Krishna's energy. There is nothing existing that is here. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatma sudurlabha. That Atma is very rare. Who is that Atma very rare? He sees everything in relationship to Vasudeva. And that is the state of Prema. Okay? So that is the sloka, this 21.
Prabhuji, this is a stage of between Ruchi and
Rati and Prema.
That is Bhava.
No, Prema Bhakti, then Bhava Bhakti.
So
Or,
this is
no. Bhava Bhakti comes, then Prema Bhakti comes.
so Rati is between Bhava and Prema.
Yeah, it's a mixture of Bhava.
Okay.
It is transcending Ashakti. Then you go to Rati and Bhava.
So Bhava and Rati are same, Prabhuji?
Yeah, it is, one is fondness. Fondness means initial stages of love of Godhead. I mean, pure love of Godhead. In Bhava, you get love of Godhead. That's what it is. Okay. Now, after love of Godhead, what happens? Darshanam. Okay, you get Prema. Prema is the supreme love of Godhead. Then after Prema, you get Darshanam. What is Darshanam? You can see Bhagavan in front of your eyes. That curtain of Maya is taken. Okay. So let's read 2022. Ato vaikavayo nityam bhaktim paramaya muda vasudeve bhagavati kurvanti atma prasadanim. Translation. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentals have been rendering devotion service to Lord Krishna, the Passionate Godhead, with great delight, because such devotion service is enlivening to the self. So this sloka is trying to tell us that this place is time immemorial. That means many, many millenniums have passed. And there have been great personalities in the past, kings, transcendentalists, rishis, devotees, whoever it may be. And they've all been practicing this for time immemorial. Non-stop they've been practicing, and they found themselves in great, immense happiness and joy. So it is not something artificially starting now. People have been doing this in the past, and many of them have taken benefit out of this. They've all gone back home, back to Godhead. So this sloka is ensuring or asserting the fact that this is the way that human beings have transcended this world. And people who are now in the human being forms should take up this methods and continue the journey of life and complete it. That's what this sloka is concluding. Okay? So
Very nice, Prabhu. Very nicely explained. Thank you so much. Dandavad Pranam, Prabhu.
Oh, Dandavad Pranam, Mataji. Okay. So we will stop here. I had to take that extra 2-3 minutes. So now, today's class, what we did, we completed understanding how to come to platform of devotion. And then we learned the slokas from 15 onwards till 22, the various stages of Bhakti Yoga practice, and reach the final state of Asakti, Ruchi, Bhava, Prema, and Darshanam. What is Darshanam? Seeing the Lord eye to eye, face to face. And this is not something new. Time immemorial, people have been practicing the earthly planets, in the higher planets, including up to Brahmaji planets. They've been practicing, they're perfecting themselves, going back to God. So this is not anything new science. Okay. So we'll end the class here. Any questions? We'll take it.
Prabhu, in the text 14, you told us we have to learn to glorify the devotees who are among us, Prabhu. So when we learn to glorify them, we automatically start glorifying the Supreme Being. But what if I don't want to appreciate my fellow people? Will I expect appreciation from them, Prabhu?
No. The sloka is not going in that direction. It is not about you will expect, you don't expect. No. Sloka is trying to tell us you develop the habit of glorifying others.
Okay, Prabhu.
When you develop the habit, you will also learn to glorify that Supreme Lord and his activities.
Okay.
And that is important. So when you hear, you will glorify the Lord. Now, currently we don't do, because one is habitually we are envious and habitually we are offenders. So for materialists, the author is recommending first to practice in your material platform itself.
Okay.
Learn to glorify them for whatever small things they do. Then that habit you will also apply on devotees and Krishna, and that will become your way of life, and that is perfection.
Okay, Prabhu. So it is asking us to do it. We have to do it practically.
Yes. Practice.
Okay, okay, Prabhu. But what my question is, Prabhu, if I don't appreciate others, will I be expecting appreciation from others? That is my question. I'm in confusion
In the
state now.
initial stages of bhakti practice, you'll always come with expectation. You will be disturbed. See, I did all these things to him. He's not doing that to me. You'll be disturbed. When you come to a temple, you are saying Hare Krishna to someone. He doesn't say Hare Krishna. He just goes silent. Then what do you say? Oh, look at this devotee. He doesn't have culture. He doesn't know how to respect me. He didn't even say Hare Krishna to me. I'm so disturbed. So this is the initial stage of expectation. But as you progress in devotion service, amanina manadena kirtaniya sadari. Give respect, don't expect anything. So then what do? You will appreciate others. And I don't bother whether he's going to expect me or not. That thought only will go away for you.
Okay.
You will just go on doing your appreciations.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions? So all of you are silent.
No, Prabhu, we have already got the answers. No, Prabhu.
Okay, very nice. Yes, Gandharvika has a question here. Yes.
So, if this stages of bhakti, till what stage a human being can go?
Okay, so Gandharvika is asking, in reality, what stage we can reach. Okay, so this is from Prabhupada lecture quotes. Prabhupada said, the Brajavasis, the Gopis, the Gopakumaras, these were the people who demonstrated and they were in the state of Bhava and Prema. Okay, they reached that state. So Prabhupada said, it is very difficult to reach that state, but he recommended us, please come to the platform of Nishta Bhakti. Okay, he said, come to the platform of Nishta Bhakti.
Yeah.
Okay, if you come that, you can consider yourself that you're successful in this human form of life. That means what? He's asking you to perfect your Vaidika Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti will automatically follow at the time of death. He says that is considered to be a great achievement. Okay? Okay, so she got the answer. Okay, one last question.
Prabhu, once again you tell me, Prabhu.
Which one, Prabhu?
The same thing what you have explained. How to come to platform of bhakti and reach Raganu Bhakti.
So Prabhupada said that what we are doing is sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti has got two branches. One is called Vaidika Bhakti, another is called Raganuga Bhakti. Okay. There's an intermediate state which is called Raga Bhakti, but I'm not going to talk about Raga Bhakti, which is intermediate state. So what is Vaidika Bhakti? Vaidika Bhakti is to practice devotion through rules and regulations as spoken by acharyas and documented in literature. Right? So now what are you following? 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles, following Ekadasi, following appearance, disappearance of acharyas, then practice of arti. So this is called Vaidika Bhakti. Right? There are rules and regulations I have to do, I will do. Now, but when you keep doing this on a regular basis, what happens? You will not be pushed by those rules and regulations, but you will get an automatic likeness to do it. Okay. That automatic likeness will mature, and you will feel really lovingly to do those things. I want to chant. I'm wanting, I want to perform deity services. I want to do this. That call in your heart will happen. That means you're moving away from Vaidika Bhakti forced by rules and regulation through spontaneous love for Godhead. And that is Raganuga Bhakti. So, this is the key that we need to understand. Okay. Now, when we reach the state of Raganuga Bhakti, it is nothing but all the characteristics of Nishta Bhakti established in your heart. Okay. So, when will Raganuga Bhakti come in your heart? When you go through Shraddha, faith, then Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajana Kriya, then Anartha Nivarti, then Nishta. Okay. After Nishta, at the time of your last days of your life, when you practice Nishta Bhakti continuously, you will get Ruchi and Asakti. Right? You must have seen in the videos of Haripad Prabhu. Right? See how much of Ruchi and Asakti. He was not having any attachment. He was just remembering Lord and then chanting and then going. So he got full Ruchi. Kadambakana Maharaj. You can see how people are leaving their bodies. So this is an example how to achieve that and go. So now today you may have find it difficult. What to do, Prabhu? I have a job. This is like this is a follow Varnashram system. Prabhu, fix a timeline. Okay, by 55, whatever happens, I'll retire from my material life and I'll do devotion activities. I'll do all these things. Whatever many devotion activities are practiced, I will do that. So from Grihastha life, which is enjoyment with your family and enjoyment with money, opulence, all these things, you forcibly take austerity and renounce yourself and to practice Vanaprastha life. Vanaprastha life, it is not that you become sannyasi or anything. You lead a normal life, but your material activities are minimal. And your devotion activities are highest, greatest importance. That's the key. Okay? When you do this, you will reach Nishta Bhakti very easily. Okay?
Okay, Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you all so much. So today, up to sloka number 22, Prabhu. 22? Yeah. Up to 22, please read all the purports. And what are all the slokas we mugged up today? This one, 13. 13 we mugged up, right? 13, yeah. Ataha Pumbe Dvijashreshta. So this 13 you have to mug up. Then 2.14. Tasmadekena Manasa mug up. Then 2.16. Shushusho Shadda Danasya Vasudeva Kata Ruchihi. So this 116 has to be mugged up. Then 17 has to be mugged up. Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. Okay. Then 18. So today 5 slokas. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So 18. Right? So you have to mug up these 5 slokas today. And read all the purports from 13 to 22. Yeah. Shall we end here?
Yes,
Thank you,
Prabhu.
Doctor.
Thank you.
Wonderful association.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Very Krishna.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhuji.
Enjoy your Krishna consciousness. Grandhara
Hari
Srimad
Bol.
Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
Kripa Sindhu Evacha, Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Koti Vaishnava ki jai, Vaishnava Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Tat Sat.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Dandavat.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavats Pranam Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Dandavat.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Dandavat.